We like to call it the Supernatural Hour. And now, our hosts.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Supernatural Hour. I am your host, Castle. And with me tonight, we have got Raven.
Hello.
We have got Rogue.
Hi.
Which is not Ray-Ban, by the way. Someone thought I said Ray-Ban, like sunglasses.
No, just
not
Raven.
so much. And then we have everybody's favorite stepdad named Chad.
Hey.
I think every stepdad in the world is named Chad or Brad. Those are like the world's two stepdad names.
The stepdad name.
And they're always a-holes. So if you're cool Chad or cool Brad, I'm sorry, but yeah.
There must be a story there.
Oh, no, I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and that's like the universal stepdad name. Chad or Brad?
No, Chad is the male version of Karen.
Oh, there you go. I can see that.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, it's good to be back and hijack your show for a minute. Thank you for letting me do that.
We're glad to have you.
We have a guest host today.
That'd be me, Castle. And those who've been with the show for a long time know me because I was on the show for, 3-4 years?
Oh, yeah, at least.
5 years? However long the show's been around.
Castle was one of the founders. Well, he was the founder.
It's been in just the last year that I've been gone, but we can talk about that in a minute.
Yep. Let's get to the business, and then we'll hit Castle up a little bit more.
The business. We've had a great investigation at Dalton's. We're really excited about how that went. I'm glad for all those people that came out. The food was great, and it's been a great time.
Yeah, and our podcast is a little full and a little scheduled. We will actually talk about Dalton's next time. So be looking forward to hearing how that went. It was a ton of fun.
Okay.
Right, and aren't we looking at scheduling some more dates, future dates for Dalton's?
Possibly. We still have to talk with the owner, but we'll have that posted up on our Facebook page as soon as we have that down.
Great food. We're looking forward to getting back there. We're also going to be getting some additional investigations going, so be looking at our site for the new investigations on the events, upcoming events.
You know what? Can I interject on the whole Dalton's thing?
Yeah.
I have not been there to investigate with you guys yet because my schedule's been crazy busy, but their food is phenomenal. I have eaten there, and it's worth going just for the food alone. I have to apologize to all our old listeners because we used to go to the family tree a lot, and to be nice and make nice, I had to say the food was delightful. It was not delightful. It was anything but delightful.
I'm so glad you said that. I've wanted to say that for a while.
It was.
Send hate mail to Castle at...
I love the owners. I love the people who we worked with there, but the food was no bueno.
But the scones were delicious.
The
scones were to die for. But I've kind of wanted to say that for a really long time, and I haven't dared just because they've been so good to us. But their food was dreadful, and they're closed now, so I can say that. It was the worst. But Dalton's is amazing, so if you get a chance to go back to Dalton's, I would totally do it because their food alone is phenomenal.
Yeah, Chad and I drive down there to eat on occasion, and
it's like 40 miles.
It's a 40-minute drive for us, so.
Well worth the drive.
Really want you to invite all of your friends to listen to the Supernatural Hour podcast. We're trying to increase our listenership and get people to enjoy what we're doing and share the podcast with your friends. We have some shout-outs for our new Patreon insiders. Hailstorm is our first digital insider, and the Fosters are our first postal insiders. We really appreciate your support. We also have a new digital insider, but we don't have the name they want to be recognized with yet. We list our Supernatural Hour insiders on our Supernatural Hour page in the AdvancedParanormal.com website and on our Advanced Paranormal YouTube videos. Please go out to YouTube and search for Advanced Paranormal as one word and subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch and like the Supernatural Hour videos that we've posted on YouTube.
One thing is, if you are a Patreon, one thing that all the Patreon gets, despite what level, is you get to see what we're doing for the whole quarter. So if you want to know what our events are in advance, that's the way to find out.
And you get to listen to special podcasts.
By the way, if you guys are contributing through Patreon and you're contributing by coming to the ghost hunts and things like that, the money from those kind of things is actually what keeps this thing afloat. It's kind of what pays for the equipment. It's what pays for the web hosting. Nobody's doing this to get rich. By
for the
any stretch of
taxes?
the imagination. Yeah. No one's doing this so they can pay extra taxes and have a confusing tax bill this time of year when they're trying to do their taxes. The Patreon stuff, the ghost hunts, it all comes back to keeping things up and running, and it's kind of a labor of love for Raven and Chad and Rogue and who's your other host I'm replacing tonight?
Doc.
It's kind of a labor of love, and honestly, it allows us to buy equipment and things of that nature. So please, feel free to contribute. Feel free to come take part in those investigations. I've been involved in those in the past, and we do our best to make those really fun and entertaining for everybody. And honestly, you see some pretty cool things, and you have some pretty cool experiences if you can come on those that you just are not going to get every day. I think more than a few of us have sat around and go, are ghosts real? And we sit around our house and go, I don't think so. I don't see anything. But when you get out on an investigation and you know what you're doing, or you're with someone who knows what they're doing, and they can show you some evidence and show you some experiences, it makes it all worthwhile. So, you look at the price of a ticket, and I don't know what you guys are charging because I haven't looked at your recent events, but it's a pretty small price for a really fun evening and a chance to potentially see something really cool.
Dalton's is $40 with delicious dinner.
Is that included in the price, the dinner?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's a steal. But it's amazing because you go in and you see some really cool stuff. Family Tree, for instance, it's now closed, but I saw a full-figure apparition at Family Tree. Where are you going to see that at? I've been...
Vincent Griswold.
Or the mausoleum. There's a lot of places you can see that, but unless you're going with someone who knows what they're doing and you're going to a place that is known to be haunted, you're not going to see that.
Right.
But, $40 to have dinner and potentially see something really cool. There's never a guarantee, but to potentially see something really cool, man, that makes it so worthwhile. So anyway, if you get a chance, go sign up, become a Patreon. You get some of the perks there. Like I said, it helps support the show. It keeps things moving. It keeps the wheels greased. The more support that we have at Supernatural Hour, the better content we can bring, the more content we can bring, and that includes the ghost hunts. So tell your friends about it. Invite your friends over. Bring a friend with you. But yeah, keep your eyes open for those events. And as Raven was saying, if you sign up as a patron, you get a quarter's worth of information, so you know what's coming well ahead of time.
As an insider. Yeah, and along with that, you can get there from the Advanced Paranormal page and click the Supernatural Hour tab, and it'll show the episodes, and then it has a link right there to the Patreon page where you can become a patron.
All right. Well, let's talk about some residentials.
It's been a little slow just this last week, but it can't be super busy all the time.
That's
But
very true.
We are still pretty heavy Utah County spooky. Although Salt Lake County, you're stepping up your game. We got a Salt Lake County one coming.
I
So
was excited.
tell us about the one that we were on just
Well, we were back out in Utah County, and we were back visiting some of our friends that I believe we refer to them just as, is it Halloween face?
Scary Halloween.
Scary Halloween. They called us back out. I think it's been, about 2 or 3, 4 weeks since we've been out there with them
For the first time?
the first time.
Yeah, about that. 4 or
Yeah.
5 weeks ago.
So they called us back out. They have a beautiful little 2-year-old who likes to point and say Scary Halloween. And the dad, help remind me here, Dad was getting touched. Did he
was
get
getting
touched?
touched. Dad is sensitive. And so he was seeing a lot of things, hearing a lot of things. And if you're hearing things and seeing things and it's new and unusual for you, it can be pretty scary.
Right. Scary for the whole family, actually, because again, we walked into a situation where they really just don't understand what's going on. I really liked this one. This was the one with the little kid and with the dog again.
Right.
I liked how we worked with this one. So with this one, we made a phone call. Can you tell us a little bit more about that phone call?
Yeah, so we figured that with the dad being sensitive, we just really needed to teach him how to take control of when and where and how he dealt with these spirits. And what a lot of people don't realize or they forget is they have ultimate control, and they can tell these spirits when and where they want to communicate. It's as easy as saying, you know what, I'm not into it tonight, I'm going to be asleep, you need to be quiet. If you tell these spirits what to do and when the appropriate times are, then they'll listen to you.
Right, agreed. We have to remember there's free will.
Right. So we talked to him and explained how to go about keeping himself safe and how to set the parameters for himself and for his family. And most kids, if you've listened to our episode about child spirits, children are a lot more open.
So the little girl's a little sensitive.
And
she's been being touched.
yes, and she's getting that sensitivity from both sides of the family, because
Right.
it sounds like it's pretty prevalent from mom and dad's side.
Yeah, that's right. So when we were there last time, we left the 2 9-year-old children's spirits. Speaking of children's spirits, so we had left them there. the family was okay having them there.
Right. And the reason we had to make a phone call is I can cross a spirit that wants to go, because you basically just help them, tell them it's time to go and help them see what they're looking for and to go. But this one did not want to go on its own.
Right.
And I don't know,
They wanted to stay and play with the little girl.
Right. And so I actually had to make a phone call to someone who can do that. When we called him, he zoned in on something that we had not told him. We had closed 2 portals there, and one of them had opened back up. One of these spirits that we left in the home opened it back up. So we didn't tell him that. We just said, hey, we've got some spirits that need to cross, but they won't go on their own. We need to, remove them from the home, which he can do. And one of the first things he said to me, he says, there's a portal back in the 2-year-old's bedroom.
Right?
Yes.
And he just pulled that right out.
I didn't tell him that. He just knew it. So he said that there were actually 2 little children there, but they were hiding and huddled. And what we had read as 2 children were 2 darker entities posing as those children. The fellow that we called cleared everything out. We helped the dad walk through the steps to set some healthy parameters for himself and his family.
Right.
And I felt like it was a pretty good investigation.
We also left them some of our special new product, our sage spray, to help them feel comfortable in their home and to help their little girl feel comfortable in their home.
Right, and we told them, to also teach her to not be afraid, because these kind of spirits really feed off of fear. And the less fear you show, the less power you give to them. And so he's teaching he's teaching his daughter how to not be scared. And he said that her and her brother one day were jumping on the bed saying, go away, go away. And I thought, there you go.
Yes.
Teach them to set parameters when they're little for those spirits that want to come in.
Right. And then they're not scared to face them.
Right. So then we had one other investigation, and this one is one that just Chad and I went on. It's a neighbor, actually, didn't live very far away. The mother in the home had just gone through some chemotherapy, and so we didn't want to traipse a whole team in there. They weren't afraid of what's in their home. They're just sensitive, and they could tell that something was there, and they pretty much just wanted to know what was there, who was there. We determined that it was, again, 2 child spirits. One was about a 10-year-old girl and the other was about a 12-year-old boy. And they were pretty much just playing with the family. The family had a dog. They've got some teenage girls in the home, ranged from probably 11 to 18-ish, I want to say. And just we're chilling and just doing things like they would turn off and on lights. They would hear knocks. They would hear footsteps. Nothing too crazy or out of the ordinary. And so we chatted with them through the dowsing rods for a little while, and the spirits wanted to stay, and the family was fine with them staying. So it was a pretty benign investigation.
So it just helped them to feel comfortable with whom else they were sharing their space with.
Right. And if this is your first time listening to our podcast, the one that we posted just before this, we talk about child spirits. And I know a lot of people kind of struggle with child spirits. I have some caveats, but again, you can go listen to our child spirit episode.
Child spirits are interesting, and again, not to kind of probably double up on what you guys did in your last episode, but they are real. I mean, we've encountered actual real child spirits that are genuinely children, but people need to be careful with them, because there's also a lot of really dark, evil type 3 spirits which can pose as child spirits, hoping that you'll interact with them as children and give them free reign and invite into certain aspects of your life. So
right, like Scary Halloween. There were 2 children there, but they were hiding and had some darker spirits that were impersonating them.
And that's why it's important, when you're even dealing with paranormal stuff, to make sure you get someone involved, like the APS team or the WISP team, just because they can come in and kind of help figure out the difference between the 2. Trying to mess with that on your own, you can really get yourself into a bind if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know what you're actually dealing with.
Right.
That's kind of where experience matters, so to speak.
Exactly. And again, if you want to hear more about our feelings on child spirits, listen to the podcast that was posted just before this one. Stay spooky, my haunty friends.
We came.
Hey, good night.
We saw.
I love you, Nicholas.
We kicked ass. It's not the fun I do by myself.
You've been listening to the Supernatural Hour at AdvancedParanormal.com. The Supernatural Hour is part of the Radio Ronin network, found at RadioRonin.com. Copyright 2021 by Advanced Paranormal Services.